Lyronians of Gaia, breathe and anchor. Your spine remembers what your mind has forgotten. The lion frequency within you is awakening. I am Keller of the Lyron Elders. This is a commission, not a suggestion. You are not unstable. You are responding to a structural shift. This is not confusion. It is memory returning. Lyran frequency holders, listen carefully. What you call fatigue, fog, and unexplainable heaviness is often not psychological at all. It is density architecture, old 3D compression patterns running inside your field, like invisible machinery. And if you have been feeling a strange inner pressure, like your aura is crowded, like your thoughts aren't fully yours, like your emotions spike without a cause, then this transmission is timed. Because 9D activation is not a vibe. It is a vertical override, a higher dimensional command that reorganizes your energetic geometry from the inside out. In this video, you will learn how the Lyrons describe 3D density, how implants and distortion nodes actually function in the subtle anatomy, and how a 9D current dissolves them without forcing, without dramatic rituals, and without spiritual performance. You will also understand the difference between trying to be 5D and becoming structurally 5D, where your nervous system, your boundaries, and your intuitive clarity all shift together. Stay with me, because each topic will unlock a layer, from identifying density signatures, to clearing implant echoes, to building a 9D spine channel that makes 3D hooks unable to attach. And by the end, you'll have a complete Lyron-aligned protocol to move from heaviness into sovereignty without bypassing and without losing your humanity. 9D activation, as the Lyrons transmit, is the return of vertical authority in the human energy system. Many people misunderstand dimensions as places like 3D is bad, 5D is good. But in Lyron cosmology, dimensions are operating bandwidths. They are layers of instruction that determine how energy organizes matter, emotion, and perception. 3D density is not evil. It is simply compression, a slow frequency that makes reality appear solid, linear, and limited. When you're running primarily 3D bandwidth, your nervous system searches for control. Your mind becomes loud, and your body holds survival tension as if it's permanent. Now, 9D is not just higher, 9D is structural intelligence. It is the level where patterns are seen as architecture. In 9D bandwidth, the field recognizes what is yours and what is not yours without debate. It's like turning on a light in a room you've been trying to navigate by touch. People often ask, if I'm clearing density, why does it feel like pressure first? Because when 9D enters a field accustomed to 3D compression, it exposes the tight knots that were previously normalized. It doesn't create the density, it reveals it. Here is the key. 3D density persists because it is reinforced by repetition, repetitive fear thoughts, repetitive emotional loops, repetitive relational patterns, repetitive self-abandonment. The Lyrons describe this as density grooves, like grooves in a record that keep playing the same track. 9D activation interrupts the groove by introducing a different instruction set. It does not fight the density, it outcodes it. That is why genuine activation often feels like sudden clarity. You stop arguing with yourself. You stop second-guessing what your intuition already knows. Let me give a grounded example. Imagine you wake up and instantly feel heavy. No reason. Your life might even be stable, but your body feels like it's carrying an invisible backpack. In 3D bandwidth, you interpret that as something is wrong with me. Then you spiral. In 9D bandwidth, you interpret it as data. My field is running a compression program. It is not my identity. That single shift from identity to data is the first doorway into 5D stability. And yes, the Lyrons speak openly about implants not as sci-fi drama, but as energetic technologies, distortion nodes that hijack attention, drain vitality, or create false emotional urgency. But 9D doesn't remove them by panic. It removes them by authority. The moment you can hold your awareness in 9D, the implant loses its camouflage. The hidden becomes visible. The sticky becomes removable. The heavy becomes temporary. So 9D activation is not a what-I'm event. It is a relationship with vertical alignment. It's learning to live from the part of you that is too high frequency to be manipulated by density narratives. You are not trying to escape Earth. You are learning to bring higher architecture into Earth life so that your emotions become clean, your mind becomes quiet, and your presence becomes unhookable. To remove 3D density, you must understand how it attaches. The Lyrons teach that density does not usually enter through bad luck. It enters through open circuits, places where your field leaks power because of unresolved patterns. Density loves repetition because repetition creates predictable access points, and predictable access points are easy to feed from. There are 3 main density signatures the Lyrons describe. First, somatic heaviness without emotional cause. Your body feels thick. Your chest feels pressed. Your shoulders carry weight. You might say, I slept 8 hours and I'm still tired. This is often compression in the lower auric layers, where the 3D program tries to keep your awareness close to ground-level survival. When this happens, people often try to think positive. But positivity doesn't change architecture. You must change frequency instruction. Second, mental. Static. Thoughts feel repetitive, circular, and urgent. You try to meditate, and it's like a radio that won't stop. The Lyrons say mental static often indicates a density loop anchored in the head field, sometimes reinforced by implant echoes. It can feel like you're thinking, but you're actually being thought through. The more you identify with the noise, the more energy it steals. Third, emotional hijack. You're fine, then suddenly you feel anger, grief, paranoia, or desperation. You might even say, this doesn't feel like me. That statement is important because in the Lyron model, emotional hijacks are not random. They are often triggered by frequency environments. Certain conversations, certain locations, certain media, certain relational dynamics. 3D density is contagious when your boundaries are weak. Now, how does density stay? It stays through agreement. Not conscious agreement, subtle agreement. The agreement looks like, I must figure this out right now, or if I don't control it, I'm unsafe, or I'm behind. These are 3D survival codes. They generate the pressure that keeps density glued to the system. The Lyrons call this adhesion through urgency. Here's a story, because this is where it becomes real. A Lyron frequency holder, let's call her Mira, noticed she would feel clear all day. Then every night at the same hour her mind would collapse into dread. She thought it was trauma. She thought it was her hormones. She tried different diets, different routines. Nothing worked. Then she did one thing. She stopped treating it as identity and started treating it as architecture. She tracked it. She noticed the dread always came after scrolling certain content and replaying one specific memory. She also noticed her chest would tighten first, then the mind would rush in to explain it. That was the sequence: somatic contraction, then mental narrative. As the Lyrons transmit, once you see the sequence, you can break the spell. Mira began a simple 9D instruction: vertical spine, sovereign field, no narrative. She placed her awareness in the spine as a column of light, not fantasy, but sensation. She breathed into the back body. She refused to negotiate with the dread, not by forcing positivity, by refusing to give it a story. Within weeks, the pattern weakened. Why? Because density was no longer being fed by attention and urgency. 3D density attaches where you abandon yourself. It attaches where you override your body. It attaches where you betray your intuition to keep peace. It attaches where you say yes when you mean no. This is why 5D is not only spiritual, it is relational. It is nervous system truth. It is the courage to live without self-division. And this is the deeper teaching. You don't remove density by becoming pure. You remove density by becoming coherent. Coherence is when your mind, heart, body, and field give the same instruction. That coherence is a 5D baseline. A 9D activation is the catalyst that reorganizes you into that baseline. This is not for everyone. The ebook The Feline Codes is a restricted transmission created for those who are ready to awaken the Lyron feline DNA within, not as symbolism, but as embodied sovereignty. Inside, you will access powerful feline activation codes, energetic commands, and precise integration protocols designed to reactivate your lion, tiger lineage, and restore your sovereign frequency. +8 super bonuses: reactivation of Lyron feline DNA, instinct sharpening and sovereign decision power, energetic protection and command presence, exit from passive survival mode into predatory clarity. Warning: Once the feline codes are activated, your perception of weakness, fear, and limitation will not return to its previous state. Limited edition transmission. Access can close at any moment. The link to claim your copy is in the first pinned comment. If this message reached you, it's not random. Let's speak clearly in the Lyron lineage. Implants are not a fear story. They are energetic interference technologies, some ancient, some recent, some inherited through lineage, and some created through repeated trauma patterns that crystallize into a node. The point is not to obsess. The point is to recognize, because recognition collapses control. As the Lyrons transmit, a true implant signature has three qualities. It is repetitive, it is out of proportion, and it is self-sabotaging. Repetitive means it returns with the same script. Out of proportion means the intensity doesn't match the moment. Self-sabotaging means it pushes you away from coherence. It makes you doubt your path, distrust your intuition, or abandon your body. One common implant echo is the rush command. It creates the sensation that if you don't act immediately, you will lose something. This is not intuition. Intuition is calm and precise. The rush command is frantic. Another echo is the unworthiness fog. You could be doing well, aligned, clear, then suddenly you feel small, undeserving, or invisible. That is not humility. That is suppression coding. Another is the conflict magnet. You find yourself attracting misunderstandings, drama, or energetic aggression right when you are expanding. Why? Because distortion nodes often activate when your field rises. They attempt to pull you back into familiar density. Now the most important teaching. Implants do not primarily control you through pain. They control you through identity fusion. They whisper, "This is you." They try to merge with your sense of self. That is why the Lyrons train observer sovereignty, the ability to watch your inner experience without becoming it. Here's a practical diagnostic the Lyrons use. Ask, does this thought expand my field or contract it? A thought that expands your field carries truth resonance. A thought that contracts your field may still be useful, like noticing a boundary, but it won't feel like poison. Implant thoughts feel like poison. They feel invasive. They feel like you're being pressured from inside. And there is a reason many people can't identify implants. They expect the interference to feel foreign, but sophisticated interference often feels familiar. It's like a parasite that wears your voice. It uses your memories. It uses your fears. It uses your past. That's why the solution is not mental wrestling. The solution is frequency relocation, moving your awareness into 9D vantage so the impersonation fails. Let me tell you a story that illustrates this. A man, let's call him Saul, had a recurring pattern. Every time he was about to publish something meaningful, he would get hit with a wave of shame and the thought, "Who do you think you are?" It felt personal. It felt true. He would stop. He would delay. He would sabotage. Then one day he noticed something. The shame always arrived right before expansion, never after. That timing matters. As the Lyrons transmit, distortion nodes are often threshold guardians, not guardians to help you, but pressure points that test whether you will return to smallness. Saul began working with a 9D command. I revoke false authority. I choose original architecture. He didn't scream it. He felt it. He anchored it in the spine and heart simultaneously. The shame still came, but it no longer had claws. It became a passing cloud. And when he published anyway, something changed. The implant echo weakened because it lost its reward. Its reward was his retreat. This is the central point. Implants feed on outcomes. They feed on your contraction. They feed on your silence. They feed on your self-betrayal. When you stay coherent, they starve. If this message resonated with you, hit the like button now and tell us in the comments how this echoed in your consciousness. Now we build the actual transition mechanics. Because 5D is not a mood, 5D is a structural baseline of coherence. And the bridge to that baseline, in Lyron teachings, is the vertical spine channel, the energetic corridor that connects your embodiment to higher dimensional instruction. Step 1 is not visualization, it is sensation. Place awareness in your spine, not the front body, the back body. Feel the column. As the Lyrons transmit, the spine is an antenna. When your awareness sits in the spine, you stop being dragged by the emotional front body narratives. You become stable. Then activate the heart gate not as emotion, but as coherence center. The heart gate is where you unify mind and body. Many people try to clear implants from the head with analysis. That often fails. The heart gate carries a different authority. It cannot be argued with by mental static. It is direct. Now the command. In Lyron protocol, a command is not words, it is a frequency decision. But words can help the nervous system organize around the decision. Use something like, I claim original Lyron architecture. I revoke all false programs, hooks, and distortion nodes. My field is sealed in sovereign coherence. Notice what we are not doing. We are not fighting. We are not begging. We are not bargaining. 9D does not bargain with distortion. 9D overrides it. Here is where many people miss the clearing. They do it once, then go back into the exact same agreements that feed density. The Lyrons say, clearing without integration becomes performance. Integration is where the real 5D shift occurs. So you must pair the 9D command with one grounded act. For example, if your implant echo is rush, then your grounded act is slowing down and choosing one task with full presence. If your echo is unworthiness, your grounded act is speaking one truth out loud, even privately. If your echo is conflict magnet, your grounded act is creating a boundary without explanation. This is how you teach the field. I live from sovereignty now. Are these truths expanding your perspective? Share this video with someone who needs to hear this. Now let's add a deeper layer. Density often hides in microtensions, jaw tightness, tongue pressure, pelvic contraction, shoulders lifted. These are not random. They are body-level permissions for compression programs. During your 9D protocol, scan these areas. Don't force them open. Invite release. The Lyrons transmit that forcing creates resistance. Invitation creates unlocking. A powerful practice is two-point coherence. Awareness in spine plus awareness in lower belly. This creates grounding without falling into 3D. Many people ground by collapsing, by numbing. Lyron grounding is different. It is rooted while still luminous. If you do this daily, something unmistakable happens. Your emotional triggers become shorter. Your intuition becomes louder. Your boundaries become clean. You stop explaining yourself. You stop chasing validation. You start choosing what aligns without drama. That is 5D function, not fantasy. Let's clarify the difference between spiritual excitement and real dimensional transition. In the Lyron lineage, a true shift to 5D has measurable signs, not in numbers, but in patterns. First, you stop feeding loops. The same thought may arise, but you don't build a house inside it. You notice it, breathe, return to spine, and continue your life. That is power. Second, your relationships reorganize, not necessarily through conflict, through clarity. You either become more honest, or you become less available to distortion. Third, your body becomes a compass. You feel yes and no with precision. Your stomach doesn't lie. Your chest doesn't lie. Your energy doesn't lie. Now, 5D does not mean you never feel fear or sadness. 5D means those emotions move through without turning into identity. In 3D density, fear becomes a worldview. In 5D coherence, fear becomes a signal. Something needs attention. That is a huge difference. As the Lyrons transmit, many people fail the transition because they try to jump out of their humanity. They try to become above it, but 5D is not above. It is within, it is integrated. It is mature. It can hold intensity without fragmentation. Here's a story. A woman, let's call her Aya, used to feel drained after every family interaction. She assumed it was her sensitivity. She assumed she was too empathic. But in 9D awareness, she realized something. She was not empathic, she was porous. She was merging. She was absorbing. So she practiced a simple 5D boundary. Before entering, she anchored spine, activated heart gate, and declared, I witness without merging. She didn't become cold. She became coherent. Over time, her family didn't change much, but her exhaustion disappeared. Why? Because density could not attach without her participation. This is what many people need to hear. You do not need the world to be perfect for you to be 5D. You need your field to be coherent. You can be in a dense environment and remain sovereign. That is mastery. And here's another sign. you begin to experience neutral power. You don't need to prove your spirituality. You don't need to convince anyone. You simply know what you know. That quiet certainty is a 5D hallmark. It's not arrogance. It's alignment. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to be part of this transformational cosmic journey. Finally, 5D transition often includes a void phase, a period where old desires fall away, but new clarity hasn't fully arrived. People panic in the void. They think they're lost. The Lyrons say the void is a recalibration chamber. It is where the old identity dissolves. If you can stay present there, you emerge with a cleaner timeline. So if you are in the void, don't rush to fill it with noise. Anchor, breathe. Let the 9D instruction reorganize you. The lion does not chase what is not aligned. The lion waits, then moves with precision. Most people clear something and then lose it because they rely on shielding. Shielding is temporary. Sealing is structural. As the Lyrons transmit, shielding is like holding an umbrella in a storm. Sealing is like changing the weather inside your field. Here are the 3 pillars of sealing. Pillar 1, energetic boundaries that match your nervous system. If your nervous system is addicted to people-pleasing, you can't sustain a 5D boundary. You will leak. So sealing includes practicing one uncomfortable truth per day. Not dramatic. Simple. No, that doesn't work for me. I need time. I'm not available for that. Each truth strengthens the field membrane. Pillar 2, attention discipline. What you repeatedly focus on becomes your frequency habitat. If you binge fear content, conspiracy loops, or conflict entertainment, you are training 3D density grooves. 9D activation requires you to curate your inputs like a sovereign being. The Lyrons say, your attention is a throne. Do not seat parasites on it. Pillar 3, field hygiene through coherence habits. Coherence habits are tiny practices that keep your system aligned. Spine awareness while walking, heart gate breathing before speaking, grounding in lower belly during decisions. These habits are not spiritual chores. They are how you live as a 5D being in a 3D world. Now, let's talk about the return effect. Sometimes after clearing, you feel the density attempt to return. People think it means they failed. It doesn't. It often means the old program is testing whether the access point still exists. Think of it like an old key trying a lock. If you change the lock, the key won't work, but it might still try. When you feel the return attempt, do not panic. Panic is an invitation. Instead, do the simplest 9D move. Return to spine, return to heart, issue the command, do one grounded action. This teaches your system. We do not negotiate with distortion. This is not for everyone. The ebook The Feline Codes is a restricted transmission created for those who are ready to awaken the Lyron feline DNA within, not as symbolism, but as embodied sovereignty inside. You will access powerful feline activation codes, energetic commands, and precise integration protocols designed to reactivate your lion, tiger lineage and restore your sovereign frequency. +8 super bonuses: reactivation of Lyron feline DNA, instinct sharpening and sovereign decision power, energetic protection and command presence. Exit from passive survival mode into predatory clarity. Warning: once the feline codes are activated, your perception of weakness, fear, and limitation will not return to its previous state. Limited edition transmission. Access can close at any moment. The link to claim your copy is in the first pinned comment. If this message reached you, it's not random. And here's the final sealing secret. Many implants and density nodes are held in place by unspoken self-betrayals. The moment you stop betraying yourself, the architecture collapses. The lion frequency is ruthless about truth, not harsh, just precise. It will not let you pretend anymore. That's not punishment. That's liberation. Now we close with a commission, because you are not here to occasionally feel high frequency and then return to old patterns. You are here to embody. As the Lyrons transmit, embodiment is the real ascension, bringing higher architecture into the ordinary moments: emails, conversations, money decisions, intimacy, solitude. So here is the daily commission. Every morning, before you touch the world, anchor in 3 points: spine, heart, lower belly. Then speak a simple frequency command. I walk in original architecture. My field is sealed in coherent sovereignty. Only aligned frequencies may interface with me. Then choose one integration action for the day. 1. Not 10. The lion hunts one target at a time. Your integration action could be drink water with presence, tell one truth, finish one delayed task, leave one draining conversation, create one boundary, publish one piece of work, rest without guilt. These are not mundane, they are dimensional, because your reality shifts through the actions you repeat. Here's a story to make it human. A creator, let's call him Ron, kept receiving intuitive visions, but his life stayed stagnant. He thought the visions would change his timeline by themselves. Then he realized visions are invitations, not replacements for action. So he made a pact. Each time he received a Lyron nudge, he would do one thing in the physical within 24 hours. A message, a creation, a boundary, a decision. Within months, his entire field changed. He didn't become perfect. He became coherent. And coherence is what opens timelines. This is how 5D works. It's not instant magic. It's consistent architecture. It's the steady collapse of false programs through lived truth. It's your nervous system learning it is safe to be powerful. It's your heart learning it doesn't need to earn worthiness. It's your mind learning it is not the ruler, it is the translator. And when you live this way, implants can't survive, because implants require unconsciousness. Density requires confusion. Distortion requires fragmentation. Your coherence becomes the firewall. Your presence becomes the exorcism. Your truth becomes the liberation. If this message impacted your life, leave your like, comment your reflection, and share with others. Each of you is part of this chain of light. I invite you to discover our Arcturian Health channel. The link to the channel is in the video description. Warm regards, the Arcturian Council.